In the 1980s, Europe was losing about 400,000 people every year to air pollution, a number so big it's hard to grasp. Cities were becoming choked by an invisible killer, largely because urban planning had prioritized cars, creating endless roads and spewing out tons of harmful emissions. Vehicle exhaust, the main culprit, pumped out particulate matter and nitrogen oxides that directly led to respiratory and heart problems. Scientists had been documenting these devastating health impacts for years, but policymakers were still debating as cities just kept gasping for cleaner air. The very air we breathed had become a silent predator, claiming lives. By the end of the decade, that number of annual deaths from pollution had climbed to over 400,000. That's the population of a small city, gone every single year. In European capitals, nitrogen dioxide levels routinely hit 200 micrograms per cubic meter, which is 4 times the World Health Organization's safe limit. And get this, studies revealed that city residents suffered lung damage equivalent to smoking 10 cigarettes every day. By 1990, the cost to the EU was an astronomical $1.6 trillion annually, factoring in health expenses and lost productivity. Smog alerts became common in places like Athens and London, forcing schools to close their doors. Commuting had turned into a daily gamble with poison. People spent an average of 2 hours each day breathing in peak pollution levels. This wasn't a natural disaster. It was a catastrophe we made ourselves. For every 5 people who died in road accidents, 8 more were succumbing to these invisible emissions. The automobile, once a symbol of freedom, was now delivering a daily dose of death, and medical scans showed lung disease progressing alarmingly fast. Freiburg, Germany, in 2012, stood at a crossroads, facing a monumental decision with clear data. One path meant more cars, more pollution, a projected 8-lane highway expansion, costing $950 million. The other offered a cleaner future, a 45-kilometer electric tram network for $1.2 billion. That's a massive financial gamble, nearly a third more expensive up front, but the bet was on sustainability. Initially, around 60% of residents questioned such a huge financial commitment to trams. One politician famously called it a billion-dollar folly for fancy trolleys. Yet, leaders pushed forward, aiming for a 15% reduction in urban air pollution within a decade. Why this massive bet? Because unlike gasoline cars spewing roughly 500 kilograms of CO2 annually per vehicle, these electric trams promised zero direct tailpipe emissions. The city aimed to cut private car journeys by 30% within the city center in 5 years. This transformative investment, equivalent to building 12 new high schools, shows how crucial leadership is when charting a new course. It's a testament to prioritizing long-term urban health over short-term convenience, a bold vision for tomorrow's cities. "4,000 tons of steel rail, enough to construct 40 structures the size of the Eiffel Tower, define the challenge." These weren't just numbers on a blueprint. They represented a massive, coordinated effort to surgically implant a new steel spine into a living city. Imagine orchestrating 1,500 highly skilled workers across a dynamic urban landscape for 5 continuous years. You'd need an energy drink IV. The ambition was immense. Construction demanded incredible precision, including boring 2.5 kilometers of new tunnels underneath historical districts to preserve architectural integrity. In cities like Florence, new lines plunged 30 meters beneath iconic Renaissance landmarks. Avoiding priceless subterranean history by mere centimeters? That's surgical engineering. Relocation of over 1,500 utility lines, including ancient Roman aqueducts and 19th century sewers, demanded meticulous planning to avoid critical service disruptions for millions. To power this extensive network, engineers meticulously installed 25 brand new electrical substations. These dedicated teams constructed 25 compact substations, each powering 8 kilometers of track without disrupting historical city aesthetics. More precisely, workers laid over 210 kilometers of specialized electrical cable, powering trams across dozens of new routes. Laying over 210 kilometers of new electrical cable underground was like rewiring a city's entire nervous system. Transporting 4,000 tons of steel rail through narrow, busy streets required meticulous logistical planning and synchronized nighttime deliveries. Despite the monumental engineering and unforeseen geological obstacles, the entire ambitious project managed to stay within 5% of its original $1.2 billion budget. After 5 years of intense construction and countless logistical challenges, the first phase of Freiburg's state-of-the-art tram system was finally complete in 2017. A new steel spine was woven, ready to reshape urban life. That 15% drop wasn't just a number in a report. It was a tangible change people could feel in the air they breathed. Within a year of the tram network going fully live, nitrogen dioxide, a major pollutant from car exhaust, plunged 18% in city centers. That effectively cut your lungs' workload by a third. Microscopic lung-damaging particles known as PM2.5 saw a significant 12% reduction, clearing the air of invisible threats. It's almost unbelievable, but scientists who studied this for 30 years are still processing the data. Beyond pollution, noise levels dropped by an average of 7 decibels along tram routes, transforming chaotic streets into peaceful boulevards. With fewer cars, a remarkable 40% more urban space became available. That's like adding 1,000 football fields of green space back into the city's living fabric. Property values near tram lines responded, seeing an average 8% increase as residents prioritized access to clean, efficient public transport. Public transport ridership soared by 30%, fundamentally reevaluating daily human movement patterns. This system truly is a mad scientist's Swiss Army knife for urban problems. The city's reliance on private vehicles decreased by 20% over 5 years, significantly reducing traffic congestion and fossil fuel consumption. Visibility across the urban skyline also improved by up to 3 kilometers on average, letting you spot landmarks 2 cities away. These successes in the original city quickly became a blueprint. Cities like Portland, Oregon, replicated these strategies, showing similar 10 to 15% pollution reductions after tram system implementation. Globally, over 50 cities are now investing in or expanding tram networks. This proves this zero-emission transport model works on a grand scale. "50 cities worldwide chose trams, engineering a greener century." This shift collectively slashed 1.5 million metric tons of CO2 annually. That's like permanently ditching 300,000 cars. Imagine the collective breath. From that initial spark, 2.5 new cities embraced this zero-emission model each year, a rapid, global consensus. By 2012, Paris alone poured 2.5 billion euros into tram expansions, adding over 100 kilometers. Other capitals followed, transforming their skylines. The effect was striking. Particulate matter, PM2.5, dropped by up to 20% in some areas, leading to noticeably fewer respiratory illnesses. Hospital admissions fell 10%, a clear health dividend. Beyond health, trams revitalized urban economies. Property values along tram routes climbed 8% on average, fueling local businesses and renewal. Pedestrian traffic surged, breathing life into neighborhoods. Get this, a single tram can replace 150 private cars, slashing congestion and parking woes downtown. Imagine your commute without that endless crawl. Globally, public transport ridership jumped 15% as people opted for efficient, eco-friendly travel. Modern trams are clever too, recapturing 30% of energy during braking. That boosts efficiency and cuts costs. And the noise? Electric trams hum at 15 decibels quieter than diesel buses, making cities more peaceful. Building 1 kilometer of tram line uses 200 tons of steel and 1,000 cubic meters of concrete. It's a big investment, absolutely, but the returns are massive.